To our focus now on Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe's visit to India. He met with Prime Minister Modi earlier in the day and discussed a wide range of subjects from trade to Tamil concerns. Prime Minister Modi said India expects Sri Lanka to implement the 13th Amendment for devolution of powers to Tamil areas and ensure a life, quote-unquote, of dignity and respect for the Tamil population. He also underlined the need for working with each other in lieu of strategic and security concerns. The Sri Lankan President, remember, is on his first visit to India after taking charge last year and appreciated India's help to Sri Lanka in tiding through its economic crisis. India had extended a $4 billion aid to the island nation. A vision document for economic partnership also focused on connectivity between the two countries, ferry services between Kanakesanthurai and Nagapattinam in Tamil Nadu, infrastructure projects and development assistance package and investments in Tamil areas were also discussed. Well, to join us, to understand and give us a deeper perspective of this Sri Lanka-India ties, former Indian diplomat and author G. Parthasarathy joins us. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. What do you make of this visit by the Sri Lankan president? Do you think it's made some substantive changes, or what are the optics as far as India is concerned and concerns as far as India is concerned when it comes to its dealings with Colombo?
Look, I think some number of factors need to be borne in mind. The Rajapaksa era was really, even not just to us, but the West also, struck by the remarkable dependence and role of China, which they agreed to. And finally, they brought the economy to disaster. And the junior Rajapaksa had to actually run away from the country when he was the president. The coming of Mr. Wickremesinghe, is a seasoned politician, has seen certain changes, and I think they reflect broadly what Sri Lanka's people would want the relationship with India to be.
Right.
And I think the fact also is that External Affairs Minister Jaishankar is there. He has served in Sri Lanka in difficult times, the IPKF and so on.
Right.
And what has happened was, I think we came to the conclusion that when they were really in trouble, and the Chinese and everybody else were being rather laid back and reserved in helping them out, we gave them a $4 billion aid package. And they could use it for whatever they wanted, and also to meet their foreign exchange requirements, especially from India, their pharmaceuticals and other products they need. And that happened.
Right.
So the relationship has built. And I think what both countries have realized is there is great economic potential for it to increase. I mean, of course, there was the assistance to India when we built houses and so on. But right now, the focus is economic. And I think there's a large...
Well, as you say that the focus... As you say that the focus is economic, sir, how much of it is it a matter of concern? Isn't it a matter of concern that President Wickremesinghe seems to have a difficult political situation back home? Does he have the political backing to implement what is discussed here? Would India then be cautious about its conversations and its approach to Colombo?
Look, I think we have stayed out of their internal politics. And all that we've done is things which will reach the people of Sri Lanka. It's now with includes fuels, pharmaceuticals, and so on. But the $4 billion package, when no one was willing to offer them anything, and the Chinese can be pretty parsimonious in such circumstances, I think that was a turning point. And I visit the place regularly as a member of the India-Sri Lanka Foundation. There was definitely a change in general approach to India. Previously, the propaganda that we would swallow them up, we were helping the Tamils too much, and that there'll be separatism. That era seems to be getting behind them. And the other thing is, which we are now finding, is that the people of Tamil origin are of two varieties. One are those who lived for centuries, their families in northern Sri Lanka, and the other Indian Tamils who went there during the British period. I think what we're doing now is reaching out to both of them.
Okay, so as you make that point, sir, the Prime Minister today has mentioned about concerns over implementation of 13th Amendment. Do you believe those statements will have a definite impact as far as Sri Lanka is concerned, or do you believe that that's just an issue for the optics?
No, I think they have gone pretty far in terms of the Indo-Sri Lankan agreement.
Okay.
There are points where they would want more. And I'd like to say this is the Jaffna Tamil and not what we call the Indian Tamils. They're okay with whatever they've got. So I think we will have to play it carefully with them. And it would help if
Okay.
the Tamils follow the pattern which the Indian Tamils follow and look for change within the framework of a united Sri Lanka. And that's what they're doing now. So it's,
Okay.
you can't push these things
Okay.
in a hurry. It will go step by step.
Right. As you make that point, sir, I'm also joined by Shanakya Rasamanikam, Sri Lankan Tamil MP as well. Sir, tell us, what do you make out of the statements that's come out? What's the ground situation? Has there been any substantive difference in the last 1 year?
As a member of the Tamil National Alliance, we met the President on the 18th of July prior to his visit to India. And we categorically spoke about especially devolution of power. That is the key aspect that our discussions surrounded. Because as Tamil representatives from the north and east of this country, our objective is to ensure that Tamil people of this country have equal power in political power in this country, and also to decide their own future. However, just before the President left, when we met the President gave us a fraction of the solution that the Tamil people aspire. So, in fact, our party's leader wrote to the Prime Minister of India, Honorable Shri Narendra Modi, asking the Prime Minister to intervene so that meaningful devolution is given to Sri Lanka. So, in terms of all the economic agreements that the government of Sri Lanka has signed, what we'd like to say is that the government of Sri Lanka has signed many agreements and have agreed to many things in the last few decades that involves the Indo-Lanka Accord. But however, the government of Sri Lanka, as every single government that has been in the past, has failed to keep up those promises. Okay. So they have taken decisions that suit them whenever possible. So I wouldn't take any promises from Sri Lanka very seriously.
Okay, you're saying you don't want to take any promises. As Mr. Parthasarathy pointed out very clearly, India also looking at it very closely in terms of that issue. Let's go across to Arvind Gunasekar, NDTV's Arvind Gunasekar, who caught up with the Sri Lankan delegation as well. Let's see what he has to report.
We are joined by Jeevan Thondaiman, the youngest cabinet minister in Sri Lanka. Sir, thanks for speaking to NDTV and for your valuable time. Sir, today you part of the Sri Lankan delegation along with President Ranil Wickremesinghe met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And what are the important issues that were discussed in this bilateral meeting between Sri Lanka and India?
Well, first of all, today's meeting is something of a historic one, simply because I personally feel that this is going to renew relationship between India and Sri Lanka. And moreover, I think this is going to be the decade of growth for Sri Lanka as well. Because as you're aware, we had to go through economic crisis, we went through the pandemic, we went through so many issues. And it eventually led us to basically course-correcting our fiscal policies and a lot of reforms in that sense. And His Excellency the President Ranil Wickremesinghe has carried it out diligently. So with that being in mind, Prime Minister Modi had invited the President, His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe, to Delhi some time ago. And due to the reforms that we were taking, he was able to make the visit now. So we basically brought up issues that were pertaining to all our subjects. Mainly, I believe that the Fisheries Minister had brought up the issue of the fishery. And likewise, the Power and Energy Minister had not only come here to implement the MOU signings in the energy sector, but he had also been able to provide confidence to the Indian government on Sri Lanka's firm commitment towards green and renewable energy. And apart from that, the bilateral relations between both countries are yet to enhance more than this, because this year happens to be the 200th anniversary
of Sri Lanka.
of the Tamils who had gone as indentured labor from India to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So given that, I think being part of that very community, it made us feel very happy that Prime Minister Modi was able to
And lots of optics, lot of symbolic moves there, trade as well as Tamil concerns. We'll see how those play out on the ground in terms of substantive change. That's all we have time for here on the show. Thanks for watching. The news continues here on NDTV.